My name's Shelly Marshall, and I've lived in Utah for 6 years.
Have you noticed a change in the air quality since you've lived here?
It just seems to get progressively worse every year, and this year I noticed it even more because I had just had my son. He's 2 months old now, so we had one of the worst days I had ever seen without an inversion, and it looked like an inversion.
So what brought you to the rally today?
I just want to be in support of clean air for my children. They need to breathe clean air. I'm a nurse by trade. I understand how this affects their little bodies, and they just cannot breathe this kind of air and have a healthy life. They can't.
How did the red alert days, the inversion, affect you personally? Do you have any family members that suffer from chronic conditions or neighbors, asthma?
Yes.
You've seen it in your job?
I've seen it in my job before I even moved to Utah, and now that I am in Utah, my mother-in-law has asthma, so it gets progressively worse with the red air days, absolutely. And we all had a terrible cold that just wouldn't go away for about 2 weeks. We've all had a chronic cough. He had a cold. My 4-year-old had a cold, but it was so severe. It was way worse than just a normal cold, and we could not seem to beat it, and it just lingered, and it was directly in correlation with the bad air.
How have you tried to change your behavior or the behavior of your family to try to combat the air issue? Do you use mass transit?
We live very close to where I work. I work about 5 minutes away from my home. My husband works at home, so he doesn't commute anywhere every day. We downsized our vehicle to one vehicle, and we also bought a 4-cylinder. We weren't able to buy a hybrid at the time. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. But we bought a used 4-cylinder versus a big Jeep. We traded it in and just said enough. And my hope is once these guys are a little bit older to start using the bus. So.
When you joined Moms for Clean Air, and you said you're practicing those kind of behaviors yourself, do you find that other people, neighbors, friends are receptive to the message at all?
I find that a lot of people are receptive, but it's pretty interesting that in my own family, it seems like because they know me, there's a little bit of a resistance. Like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or yeah, you're just on the eco wave again. You know, they don't really take it seriously. And I had to have a serious talk with my mother-in-law about not idling and, you know, why it's important. They just don't know. They just don't know the facts. So yes and no. I have found a lot of resistance in some areas, but then again, I'm friends with such wonderful, supportive people. So it's kind of mixed, and it's interesting. I'm trying to get some programs started at my work as well, and there's definitely a resistance. It's easier to go with the flow than to try to change your practice. So.